Good morning, everyone. We're going to do this beautiful snow scene this morning. This is in Appleton Farms, light coming through the trees, really beautiful. All right, so we're going to start with, this is raw sienna, very dry brush, okay? We're going to paint the light coming through the trees first. Okay, very dry. Don't try to paint it all the same value or, different values. Some very light, some very dark, but use a very dry brush and put it on. And you can put more on than you think because we're going to paint over this with that very dark woods in the background. So, all right, so this is ultramarine with quin sienna and some just a deep blue, it's very dark. It's very almost black, so take your time with this. This is very delicate. This is your whole painting right here, the light coming through the trees. So once you get that raw sienna in there, you can go in like this and just take your time, nice pointed brush, and just paint around it. Leave some light, leave some white, on top of the raw sienna, the leaves. All right, just take your time, work those edges. Plenty of holes going through those leaves. So enjoy yourself here. This is really fun. You're going to bring that dark black color down below the leaves. It gives you a beautiful backdrop, pumping that light up. So you can see how the white is really working here. It's sort of sparkle on the leaves and as the light comes through those trees. All right, don't worry about anything else. Just work on this area of the leaves coming through, and then we'll move on with this real black. So you want to bring that black down to the bottom of the leaves and then start adding more blue. You can see I'm pushing the ultramarine blue now. Bring that down a little further. We're still in the backwoods here. Really push, start getting more blue, a lot more blue. It's going to get lighter and lighter. You can see it. A little more water. You can even add some cobalt blue if you want. Pinch of rose. And see these white spots I'm leaving? You don't be afraid to leave those. That's the sun coming through the trees and it's hitting that field of snow in the background. So you can see the rose I put in there. It's a lot lighter. All right, so we're bringing that down to the bottom. If you did a sketch of the main event there, that tree in the middle. So bring it down to the bottom of that, and now we're going to paint the shadow of those trees, okay? So this is the shadow of the trees. I'm moving the camera down so you can see more of the shadows. There's the shadow of the other trees. So these two trees are really up front. And then there's the rest of it is just shadow from the leaves and the branches and everything else that's up there. This is the only drop of raw sienna I put in the snow, right on that edge. For some reason it's maybe casting a little bit of the light from the tree or whatever. But that edge is a little grayer. There's some rocks covered with snow. So I'm just going to paint the rocks first with the shadow color. All right, there's the rocks. And then the rocks have a shadow to them that we'll add here. Taking a little bit off there. Adding a little rose. adding a little rose, which is the light on the trees, on the rocks. So I just, there's shadows everywhere here, so I wouldn't try to paint them like they are in the photo. You can see I'm just throwing some shadow color on the ground and working the shadows. It seems a little abstract, the light coming through the trees and painting the shadows first. So, all right, constantly looking up at that light, to make sure it's working. Every once in a while, I'll go back and put a little more black in around those leaves, covering some of the white and punching some holes in the leaves. All right, so now we're going to put in all the background trees. These are, we're deep in the woods here, and there's trees that are just black. They're really very ultramarine, quinceañera. If you want to push them towards the blue or even add some rose, that's fine, But these are just basically the trunks of the trees in the background. And the deep forest, just really take your time, put in all these trees. The big thing is try to make some different than others, And you have a few that have fallen, and we'll go back later. And then you have some coming up front here. All right, just, try to make them different. That's all you really need to do there. Then you go in and touch the bottoms of these trees. They always, the bottom of a tree usually reaches out, it comes out, pushes out from the trunk, so they're going into the ground. So don't be afraid to do that. All right, I'm going to paint the rocks now under the snow. These rocks are covered with snow, and we've done plenty of this, so you should feel very comfortable with it. Nice dark color, ultramarine, quinceañera. Maybe some red in there, some rose, warm them up, some quinceañera, a little stronger. And enjoy this. This is so much fun, this is really beautiful. Very peaceful. You can see all the snow, it looks crazy right now. We got all this violet and blue, but that's the way snow looks, it has all these crevices and hills and little lumps and bumps, and and it all affects the light on the snow differently. So it's going back. There's a bunch of leaves and branches and whatever back there that I'm covering. This, a few more that are a little further forward than those back. And it really starts to create a nice sense of depth, and that's what you're looking for here, But it's really all about the light on those trees. It's so beautiful. A few branches have fallen, sitting on the snow and all that, so get that in there. All right, this is the main event here, getting these trees in the front, and you want to line them up with your shadow. Okay, this one has sort of a split. It's really two trees that have grown together, and they come down and meet the base, and they have a nice base to them. They reach out. Nice sense of reaching out there. Little pieces peeking out through the snow. All right, and there's another one on the right here. So get a nice base of it, and there's some branches and rocks and whatever peeking out here in front of that tree. Creates a sort of V A lot of lines are going in, as you see, in diagonal, you know, pointing towards the light. And they lead the viewer right in there beautifully. So it's really an exquisite composition. It's really beautiful. The colors are wonderful. All right, there's a bunch of branches and, you know, peeking out here out of the snow, you know, just here and there. You can put them anywhere you want. A bunch of little trees growing and branches sprouting up. Take your time with it, enjoy it. This is really a special painting. Beautiful composition. All right, I'm going in and enriching this shadow of this main event tree here. So this is just ultramarine I'm putting in there and bringing it down. It gets lighter as it comes to you. You can see that A in there. You know, some people say that if you put an A in your painting, it's going to be special. All right, finally, I'm going back, just spattering a little water, as you've seen me done many times, on the light, on the leaves of the tree, and I'm just going to go back and pat that and just cause a little more light, a little more variety in the light of the trees there, okay? All right, and finally, I'm just going to take a little bit of gouache and add little pieces of light. That's the black paint. I'm not using the gouache there. But there's the gouache. I'm just on these little branches. There's some little pieces of snow. Okay? Thank you for joining me. I will see you again very soon. And happy holidays.